Hello, my name is Melinda Arcara. I am an applied nutrition candidate at the University of New England, and I'm here to talk to you today regarding obesity and overweight concerns for African American women in South Carolina. An overview of the presentation, we will be talking about obesity and overweight risk factors. Blacks have a higher obesity rate, and more than half, that's 56.9% of Black obese women have obesity. South Carolina is one of 16 states that has an adult obesity rate above 35%. Obesity and overweight is costing South Carolina more than $8.7 billion annually in healthcare costs, and risk factors such as cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders, diabetes, orthopedic complications, and certain cancers are common. In addition to this, obese people are more often report impaired psychosocial well-being and health-related quality of life and are at risk for premature death. Today, we will continue talking about three major background factors that contribute to obesity in Black women: genetics, behavior, and diet and culture. We will also talk about obesity determinants and interventions that are available or can be developed to fight overweight and obesity. We will conclude this presentation with a look at what South Carolina is doing to fight overweight and obesity among African American women. To truly understand the demographic, we have to start with the background in genetics. Black women have been shown to have lower levels of adiponectin levels. The Cleveland Clinic explains adiponectin, which is released by energy-storing cells in your white adipose tissue, which is the main type of fat in your body beneath your skin, which is the subcutaneous fat, around internal organs, which is your visceral fat, and in your bones or marrow fat. Adiponectin plays an important role in several metabolic and cellular functions. Its two main functions deal with insulin sensitization and anti-inflammatory effects. Several health conditions are associated with abnormal adiponectin levels, including obesity and overweight, insulin resistance, and atherosclerosis. Black women also have higher levels of leptin and lower leptin receptor compared to white Japanese and Chinese women. Leptin and adiponectin are both hormones that your adipose tissue makes and releases. Leptin enhances metabolism and reduces appetite. Like adiponectin, abnormal levels of leptin are associated with obesity. Genetically, Black women differ from white women in muscle mass, fat distribution, bone mineral density, and bone mass. Black women have lower visceral adipose tissue for a given body mass index, waist circumference, and waist to hip ratio than white women, which may contribute to higher BMI numbers than other races. There are behavioral factors that contribute to obesity in Black women as well. Black women experience excessive pregnancy, weight gain, and postpartum weight retention. Weight cycling is higher, it causes higher risk of cardiovascular disease risk. And poor dietary intake of healthy foods, which are whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, and there are food deserts and food swamps that they have to deal with. They also have lower levels of physical activity among Black women. Behavioral factors might be due to personality, situations, or are a reaction to their environment. So it's important to know what the behavioral factors are contributing to obesity. Along with behavioral factors, there are cultural factors contributing to obesity in Black women as well. Black women have misconceptions of one's own body weight and risk factors of cardiovascular disease. The National Center for Health Statistics showed data that Black women who misperceived their body weight were more likely to be sedentary than other racial groups. Black women believe large body weight is embraced by their Black culture, and Black women have lower intake of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Much of this is from modified versions of traditional Southern food with added cheese, corn products, and processed foods, and greater intake of added sugar, sodium, and calories from fat. Socioeconomic factors contributing to obesity and obesity in Black women start with poor education. Poor education comes from a combination of factors such as knowledge, skill, social environments, so poor family support, or improper physical built environment. Studies show that 50.1% of women in South Carolina are obese, and 53.2% of women have less than a high school degree and make less than $25,000 annually. Rural settings play a major role in overweight and obesity risk factors because many rural communities have lower education, lower income levels, and lower quality of food. 34% of South Carolina's population is considered rural. Some counties in South Carolina have obesity rates as high as 46.8%. There are many obesity determinants, and there are many factors to consider when looking for reasons why South Carolina's overweight and obesity rates are so high. The World Health Organization explains the social ecological model as a broad approach to thinking of health that includes looking at multiple factors that affect an individual, such as the group or community, the physical, social, and political environments. Interpersonal factors such as technology and passive entertainment that causes sedentary behavior, body size misperceptions, insufficient sleep, all contribute to obesity and overweight and chronic diseases. Interpersonal factors such as heredity and environment, family support and physical activity, and child-parent relationships all have interpersonal connections. Genetics may be a factor. However, in rural South Carolina, if mothers had lack of family support, did not breastfeed their children, or have poor eating habits, then they have learned behaviors that might increase the risk of overweight and obesity in both parents and children and perpetuate health problems generationally. Institutional factors such as lack of church-based interventions, nutrition knowledge gaps, and poor work environments can contribute to overweight and obesity. African American women in South Carolina are considered the primary caregivers and food providers for the family. When jobs have little allowance for personal time, women are not able to go out during a day to go to a grocery store, which makes home cooking difficult due to the lack of food or time. Working in industrial areas or food deserts make consuming fruits and vegetables difficult because of lack of time or energy to prepare them. In the community, pre-pregnancy and postpartum weight perceptions and physician involvement with lack of empathy and education and income discrimination are determinants of problems as well. Obese people are 3 to 4 times more likely to be depressed, and obese women are 37% more likely to commit suicide, which makes overweight and obesity a mental health emergency. With regards to public policy, policies need to improve environments, government incentives need to provide more food support in food deserts and incentivize farmers, farm markets, and growing. Local governments can lift taxes on farming equipment or decrease taxes on local produce and goods to help improve situations in rural settings. Potential interventions for the rural areas in South Carolina for African American women. There are 3 that we're going to look at today. Cooking is a SNAP is an intervention that this intervention uses the social cognitive theory along with hands-on interactive curriculum to teach people how to use their SNAP benefits to purchase and prepare healthy, delicious foods and improve their health and wellness. Create a Better Health is an intervention that teaches participants how to use already purchased pantry items in nourishing meal preparation. The Create a Better Health intervention aims to encourage SNAP recipients to reduce the number of sweetened beverages and junk food purchased, to instead purchase pantry items that have longer shelf life and a broader range of uses for various meals. A third intervention, called I Cook 4-H, is for younger age children, 9 to 12, and the adults that prepare the food for them. This is to increase cooking knowledge, culinary self-efficacy, openness to new foods, and increase mealtime as a family and decrease sedentary time together. Another potential intervention for African American women is a sleep intervention that would be a social media and public campaign. A social media campaign on platforms popular with women between the ages of 40 to 46 to educate them on the appropriate number of hours for children to sleep or to take naps and encourage a sleep schedule, and also to implement family guidelines to limit the use of electronics before bedtime. In conclusion, the socioeconomic factors play an important role and should be considered in the design of interventions for African American women living in rural South Carolina to prevent and treat obesity. Interventions should target children and adults to stop the intergenerational problems associated with obesity. And the health policy's main goal should be to fight obesity to increase the prevalence and its contribution to other diseases. The South Carolina Office of Health and Human Services has worked to set up the Healthy Palmetto Leadership Council, which serves as the state coalition of organizations that collectively address healthy eating, active living, and healthy weight. Their main goals are to improve outdoor environments in early care and education, prioritize physical activity in schools, promote trail connectivity, and expand awareness of WIC, increase senior enrollment in SNAP, and increase accessibility to healthy foods. If the Healthy Palmetto Leadership Council can implement these items, then African American women in South Carolina will have the tools that they will need to battle obesity and become healthy. Thank you.